Give a little time for the child within you. Don't be afraid to be young and free. Undo the locks and throw away the keys and take puffy shoes.
He say that I'm good enough, cover my think about shit that I shouldn't know. So I tell him it's one of me, he making fun of me. His girl is a bum to me, like that boy is a cap. Saying he home, but I know where he at. Like, bet he blown.
How would you like to ride home on a real cowboy? I got a 6-pack of cold ones all night, so my room is out all night, so you can scream my name as loud as you need to, sugar.
Hey, sexy lady, I like your flow. Your body's banging out of control.
Here are 2 minutes 46 seconds of fun facts while I turn this entire eyeshadow palette into watercolor paint for you. 3 American presidents have won Grammy Awards. Barack Obama and Bill Clinton each have 2, and Jimmy Carter has 3. Hillary Clinton also has a Grammy Award, and she received hers before Bill Clinton did. Vibrators are the most common electrical household device ever sold. Invented by the Victorians, they thought that women suffered from something called hysteria, and the only way to fix it was to massage them. This process took a whole lot longer than they wanted. Not everybody liked doing it, so they came up with machines to help solve the problem. In the 20th century, we were experimenting with using electricity in machines, and the modern vibrator was born. In The Wizard of Oz, the Cowardly Lion's costume was actually made out of lions. For real. And the snow in the poppy scene was asbestos. The lunar moth does not have a mouth and does not eat. Some female dragonflies will fake their own death to avoid a suitor that they have no interest in. Alternatively, female mandrill monkeys do not fake their own deaths. Instead, they gather together a group of their best girlfriends and go beat the crap out of a man mandrill that they're not interested in. An outdated law in Iceland suggests that you have to have a 3-inch long pee-pee in order to get married. And this happened because once upon a time, a man and woman got married, and on their wedding night, she was so disappointed by the size of his pee-pee that she took him all the way back to the church to get an annulment. Eggplants contain nicotine, but you would have to eat 20 pounds of them to get the same amount of nicotine as a single cigarette. There is enough water in Lake Superior to cover North and South America in about a foot of water. If sounds could travel through space, the noise from the sun would sound about as loud as someone using a jackhammer right next to you. Supposedly, catnip can be used as mosquito repellent, and that was the sound of my cat sneezing. Only the biggest clownfish in a school is female. The rest are males. If she dies, the next biggest male turns into a female to take her place. It was only 66 years after our very first flight at Kitty Hawk by the Wright brothers until the Apollo 11 moon landing. The 10th American president, John Tyler, has 2 living grandchildren, and he was born in the late 1790s. If you took all of the DNA out of an adult human and lined it up end to end, it would be so long that it could reach Pluto from Earth. We have about 10 trillion cells in our body, and the DNA in each is about a meter long.
If you be a cash, I'll be the rubber band. You be the match, I will be a fuse. Boom, painter, baby, you could be the muse. I'm the reporter, baby, you could be the news.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening. A beautiful sight, we're happy tonight, walking in a winter wonderland. Gone astray is the bluebird, here to stay is a new bird. He sings a love song as we go along, walking in a winter wonderland. In the meadow we can build a snowman, then pretend that he is Parson Brown. He'll say, are you married? We'll say, no, ma'am.
All right, y'all, I'm back with the garden series. I done bought this metal garden raised bed. My husband just cleaned it out. Then we're going to lay down this plastic, garden plastic to keep the weeds out because we don't want the weeds in my bed. Child, anybody got time for that, choking out my motherfucking vegetables. Okay, so right now my husband is just leveling out the topsoil. I'm going to plant my collard greens and my mustard, some eggplants, some potatoes over here as well. Here are my collard greens and my mustard. They looking real sad in this pot, baby. I don't know what the fuck is going on. We're going to try to get this shit together. I'm learning as I go, so bear with me, okay? Now, we also going to plant some red potatoes over here. So these are my red potatoes. When you plant them, those are the eyes of the potatoes at the top. That's what y'all see, the eyes. They need to be face up, put a slit on the bottom of the potato, and put that shit in the ground. Everybody need to learn how to grow some of their own food, okay? You cannot trust everything you get from the grocery store. They be spraying pesticides on that shit. That's why people be getting fucking cancer all the goddamn time. Listen, I'm trying to live funny. I don't want to be old, broke down, senile, can't breathe, can't see, bitch walking funny and leaning. We're gonna get this shit together. So these are my greens. They look sick right now, so hopefully they'll come back together. We'll see what's gonna happen. I'm gonna keep y'all updated. Bye.
Nirvana About a Girl is a great way to start learning guitar. You can play an E minor chord, which is 2nd fret A, 2nd fret D, and then as a beginner, you can play a beginner version of G by just taking that middle finger and moving it to the 3rd fret E, and we're just going to strum that. You put those two together with a rhythm pattern, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, down, up, down. Eventually you add the other fingers for a G chord, but you can start with that kind of cheater G and then eventually get the B and high E string 3rd fret. Down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up.
With the taste of your lips, I'm on a ride. You're toxic, I'm slipping under. With the taste of a poison paradise, I'm addicted to you. Don't you know that you're toxic? And I love what you do. Don't you know that you're toxic?
You'd look better with my hands around your throat.
Get my pretty name out of here.
Before you scroll on by thinking, I don't need a craft, I'm not a crafty person, I don't need a DIY, there's something she could possibly teach me that's going to be useful to my life. First of all, you're wrong, but also, okay, that's fine, be left out of the secret, bye. I also want to say this should only be used for good. You shouldn't be using this if you're trying to lurk around your girl, okay? You can use this to hide an engagement ring before you, propose to your fiance, but I don't want any shady shit happening with this. That is not what this is about. However, I will say I discovered this DIY during a time when I shared a room with siblings and wanted a little space of my own. Emphasis on little. And it came particularly in handy when I was a teenager and doing things I wasn't supposed to do. So take that as you will. I paid attention when I watched National Treasure, okay? I wasn't just thinking of Pinterest ironic stan memes to make about Nicolas Cage. I was listening, okay? And what did he tell me? Things are best hidden in plain sight. So where's mine? Where am I hiding it? Where is it? I bet you can't guess. This is it. Bam! You might think, that's a cool book. You just took a book off the bookshelf. No, it is a hiding place. Super easy DIY, let's get into it. I'm gonna take it apart just to show you how easy it is. Also, I need to redo it. Here, you go to the thrift store, your local thrift store, and you buy a book. While you're at the thrift store, you get yourself a VHS. Also, I didn't say it earlier, but the VHS, the book has to be the same size as the VHS. Do you see where I'm going with this? Self-explanatory. As you can see here and why I'm redoing it is I didn't do a very good job on the schooling part, but mind you, I've had this since I was like in middle school. If you're the type of person that's gonna be mad at me for tearing apart a book, Virtue signal in the comments, okay? Whatever your ego needs, baby. Good for my engagement. When I first made this, I actually had these items laying around my house and didn't have to go out and buy them. And they are very cheap to buy. You're gonna take the book out and you're gonna glue it down. This is also a great idea if you're not trying to hide something but want an aesthetic way to store something. Like this would be cute on a makeup desk for brushes or something. There's all kinds of possibilities. I remember using this when I was 15. I got a Visa gift card and I went on Amazon and ordered tattoo ink and tattoo needles and stick and poke Fry from Futurama on my ankle. And I used this to hide all of the tattoo supplies. So, is this a good decision for your life? I don't know, he looks pretty cool to me. My glue gun is broken and this is just so whack, but you know, you see how you just glue it on there. It's not that difficult, people. And then boom, boom, bam. Before you comment saying you could just use a VHS case, you're not wrong, okay? But it looks cooler on the bookshelf if it's a book. These days I live alone, so it doesn't serve much purpose beyond me feeling like a super spy when I remember that I have it, but that's cool too, and that's important too. So enjoy. I hope you try it out. Have a good day. Take care. Bye-bye.
It is the 10th time this year that my mental health has deferred me from cleaning my room, which is strange because it is only March, which is strange because it is not even hurricane season yet. All the same, my mother tells my family members that my room has been hit by Hurricane Julissa. And the older men of my family, who swear that old plus man must equal wise, start to tell me stories about hurricanes that carry the names of women, and how they always do the most damage, and they probably expect us to take the hit because our fathers were farmers that only raised scapegoats. But my mother has replayed the history to me 1,000 times over. She starts with my great-grandmother, who could cook up a spell better than she could cook up a meal, who you went to when you wanted your palm read, who you went to when you wanted your husband dead, the women that the children in the neighborhood whispered stories about because women like her were burned at the stake centuries ago. Then she speaks of my grandmother, who was brought up in a time where child marriages were as regular as rain and never lived a day until her husband died. Once, a man came to her doorstep trying to take her hand for marriage, and she drew a line in the sand with her machete and dared him to cross it and cross her. You see, they called her a witch, called any woman that made it clear she could do it on a man a witch, which leads us back to my mother, who brought me up in a matriarchy so I would know whose blood I carried beneath my skin. Every Good Friday, cracking eggs to see the future and cracking eggs to make us breakfast. And she turned on the heat on her own stove, and she turned the key in her own lock, and she held me like a back brace so I would stand tall and look over all that she'd secured for me. So maybe the women of my family are witches, brujas, obia women using our powers to escape from the wicked. Maybe the women of my family are magicians, always having a trick or a knife up our sleeves, ready to strike at any man who thinks he can twist my will by calling me baby, who thinks he can twist my wrist when I don't respond to him calling me baby. And maybe the women of my family are hurricanes, and maybe hurricane is just a name that man gave to Mother Nature's reclamation of herself. All I know is that there must be some kind of magic involved for our blood to have survived this long. And if the trauma is the only thing that survives, at least something of us survives. And if the women of my family can survive this time and time again, then maybe I will survive this tropical depression. Knowing this makes it hard for me not to walk into a room like I have a place there, to claim this ruin that preceded me, like this land is mine, like this body is mine, like my history is something that was supposed to meet me here. And maybe we were the hurricane that you weren't prepared for. The natural disaster that saw that all that man claimed to be his and took it back. And generation after generation, we will take ourselves back again. Woo!
Welcome back to Still Not Cooking with Still Not David, and today we are making fresh strawberry milk. This is my favorite thing to make when I'm sad, and it just so happens that I'm always sad, so yeah. Okay, first things first, let's get our strawberries, cut off the stems, and then cut them into 4 pieces like this. And now we're gonna marinate it in some sugar. You can add as much as you want, depending how much you hate yourself. Just kidding, but yeah, I don't really like it too sweet, so I'm gonna add a shit ton. Then we're gonna mix this up evenly and let it sit in the fridge for about an hour while we cut up some more strawberries and reminisce a little bit. Alright, so after an hour of not crying, not reading old-text, not going, you should see that the sugar has melted into a nice sauce, so it's time to cook the puree. Transfer it to a saucepan and mash your strawberries. You can use a potato masher to make it easier, but I'm a professional, so I'm okay with just a spatula. Now bring it to a boil for half a BTS song. You can also add more sugar if you hate yourself even more after some self-reflecting. And then yeah, now we just have to wait for it to cool down while we wonder what went wrong, because I really don't know, Emily. I thought we were good. I really did. Anyways, now all you have to do is find a nice mason jar or bottle, put the puree in, and then add whatever kind of milk you like. I'm using lactose-free milk because I'm Asian. But yeah, that's all. Thanks for watching. And if you're still sad after drinking it, I don't know. I never said it made me happy. I just said it's what I like to make whenever I'm sad.
So I once had an obsession, and over time it grew, and it started to take over everything that I knew. And I loved it at the time, but that time is now gone by. And so I think it's time for me to say goodbye. Goodbye, Cowprint, it was nice to have you round. I've kept a little piece of you so I wouldn't let you down. I think I'm gonna miss you, but it's time that I move on. You'll forever be a part of me, so you're never truly gone. You'll forever be a part of me, so you're never truly gone.
Alrighty guys, in this week's search for the world's most comforting foods, we're making French onion soup.
Je connais la